and we're talking NFL draft. Danny G talks, and he leads me right into it here. If a defensive end like Shamar Stewart were to fall to 18 or 20, Brad will be calling everyone trying to go get him.
Absolutely.
100%. That's the end that they think fits.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Yeah.
No doubt.
And I liked your breakdown, Spenny. But at what point do you have to, sack the quarterback?
Yeah. Like I said, that is the thing with Shamar Stewart. If Shamar Stewart had 8 sacks for Texas A&M last year, he would be the number 1 pick in the draft. He is one of the best athletes in this perfect RAS score, freak of nature, plays the run great, didn't have the production in college at all. And that is
alarmingly not at all.
No, he had a sack and a half every year, I believe. He had 4.5 sacks in his career.
And that's with them too. Like when you're in the SEC and they would play Dame and stuff like that, but you get 2 freebies, 3 freebies.
The Texas A&M scheme is also not, like I say, it's not a pin your ears back, go get the quarterback type of scheme. Yeah. They ask those guys to be pocket containers. They ask them to play the run a lot and keep the quarterback in the pocket. That is evident to, like I said, Nick Scorton, who had over 10 sacks at Purdue, and then goes to Texas A&M, which has a defensive line with 2 first-round picks on it outside of Nick Scorton, and he only has 5.5 sacks. You would think you go to an SEC team with that type of defensive line and you had 10 sacks at Purdue, you're going to be a 14, 15 sack guy. No, that's not what Texas A&M asked out of their defensive lineman. I will give him a little bit of reprieve on that, but you'd still like more than 1.5 sacks.
You know the old routine, though, and I can't help but think back of Ndamukong Suh. Do you remember, Neil, we lived in an era where people called Ndamukong Suh overrated because he wasn't loading up on sacks.
Yeah, and that was that
different.
Film, when you plugged in that film,
and
you
that's
knew different.
Like that. I remember having that, looking at.
Well, he wasn't an edge
call
either.
in and go,
exactly.
This is a guy that wants top dollar. It's like, okay, well, we're done talking football. Never call in about football again because you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. But here, you know what? If you can be an impact guy, I don't give a shit about your sacks. Mm-hmm. Let him eat. Spenny, you eat. You know, if I'm the guy that's going to be at the bottom of the pile getting my ass kicked and you and KG are loading up on sacks, so be it. I don't give a shit. We just need more out of our front 4. And I think this is the one, and you guys tell me if you disagree, I think that's one thing about this draft, and I was actually talking to Bischoff about this the other day. When you're talking about the first 3 rounds, there are probably 30-some-odd defensive linemen and edges that are going to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is deep.
Insanely deep.
Listen, we're going to get a good player in the second round.
Maybe even 2.
We're probably going to get a good player in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Like guys that might be able to come in and provide immediate impact. It's one of those years. I mean, go look at whatever mock draft you want right now or do one of the dumb draft simulators. I've done 5 this morning. But you know what? Honestly, go. I know, KG, I got a problem.
You're a sicko.
Yeah. But listen, go look at all the edges and defensive linemen. You're going to get value. It maybe doesn't have to be in the first round, Spenny.
No, it doesn't. And like I said, that's why... I think the 2 guys that Brad Holmes is looking at if they trade up to get their guy, are Shamar Stewart and Mikael Williams. If one of those guys falls out of the top 15, I think Brad Holmes will trade up anywhere to 17 to 22. I can see him going into that range to get one of those 2 guys. It's not going to. I do want to kill. It's not going to be Mike Green. It's not going to be Azaraku. Those guys are not going to be Detroit Lions. But
James Pearce.
I think James Pearce is the second best pass rusher in the draft. Sean.
Thank you.
I do, and he would fit what they like, except he's an asshole. Is the word.
Cares?
And if
no,
I saw,
but
I
it's
saw this
like
team pass on Jalen Carter.
All right.
They're not going to take James Pearce.
Y'all act like he murdered somebody. I'm just sick of that.
No, but like it's bad.
I know it is.
Yeah.
But can I make the
realistic.
counterpoint? Because I have to. I always go back to what is the one thing we talk about the most about Dan Campbell? Seriously, culture.
Yes.
How he changed the culture. And that's the one thing, Neil, I think back. I had a front row seat to everybody losing their mind when the Pistons brought in that noted troublemaker, no good son of a gun. He probably should be executed by a firing squad, Rasheed Wallace. Mm-hmm. And Rasheed Wallace got here, and when in Pistonville, he did as the Pistons did. Is our culture, this is just a counterpoint, is our culture strong enough to say to a guy like James Pearce, we've heard all the stories, okay? This is the way we do business here. If you want to be here, you, when in Detroit, act as a Detroiter.
Absolutely.
Is our culture strong enough where
I
you
feel like
can
it
say,
is.
I think that's up to
let's
him.
take a chance?
You got
it.
No doubt. But that's, to me, that's, I think it's made a lot easier when you got a lot of guys around here in a strong culture that say, hey, dude, we've heard everything. Fuck it all. You're one of us now.
At some point, it's going to get tested. And we've seen it with Isaiah Buggs. We've seen it with Cam Sutton in that situation. They can handle stuff like this. Yeah. And he's not even that bad. We're not even talking about off the field stuff. We're talking about allegedly, he's such a locker room problem.
Yes.
Yeah, uncoachable and shit like that. But
we talked to the same person.
Yep.
But I don't think you would be at an SEC school producing like you are if you were that much of a problem. Like, if I'm a coach and he was that much of a problem, you getting the hell out of my program. Hit the portal.
I've said this before. You guys know how I stand on this. I'm not drafting you or signing you to come to Detroit to raise my nephew. I'm drafting you or signing you to help me win football games. So I don't care if it was Yelzabut rushing the passer. If he has 16 sacks in a season, I'm fucking buying a jersey. But I could also be realistic and look at what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell do, and that includes the small edge thing. Would I like Azaraku? Would I like Mike Green on this team? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
But they're not going to do it. They've proven to us they're not going to do. They're not going to bring in James Houston. They brought him in here. He could sack the passer. He could do that. He was kicked off the team. He's gone.
Yeah, but he fell off a cliff, though.
They like guys that are 6'4", 270 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to draft a guy that's 6'2", 250. They're not going to do it. Just
Neil,
like
and I'm not saying I'm right.
That's got
I want to be. But honestly, it's a question I'd ask you. Are we at that point yet where we know we're close? Where you say, let's go with talent. Are we at that point yet? I've heard
that's what they do.
I think in the NFL, you're always at that point.
Yeah.
I think even the Titans right now are at that point. Everybody in this league is founded on talent, and it's been proven time and time and time again. When do you get in trouble in this league? When you can't play.
Yep.
When you do something and you can't play. Like, it's been repeated. We've got tons of examples of it. Guys get in trouble in this league when they can't play. Yeah. Right or wrong, I don't care what you say. Like, it doesn't matter. That's when. And from what I've heard about the James Pearce, like, it's bad. Like, I've talked to different people than you guys, I'm sure. They're like no. Like,
he's such an Eagle. He couldn't be more of an Eagle. And the Eagles are going to draft him at the last pick of the first round.
Right.
And he is going to be after it's all said and done, it's going to be like, how did this guy not go in the top five?
I don't want to think about it.
It's going to happen.
I don't get it, though, but I guess that's why I get so hung up on it. And it's kind of going back to what Neil was saying. Shamar Stewart and Nick Scordon, those are prospects that I haven't been necessarily high on. And it's mostly because I like to look at tape. And, if it pops off on the tape, most likely it's going to pop off in the league. And for all those people, you're watching highlights, is not actual tape. We don't work for the fucking teams. Blow yourself. But, but when you see the tape, you can see, like, okay, these type of things will translate to the NFL. And I get scared because if you pick a guy like Shamar Stewart, okay, cool. But James Pearce, he ends up falling. He goes to a team like the Eagles and shows out. And we get a Shamar Stewart, and we kind of experience the same thing that we've experienced with Lions defensive ends, in which they're pretty good in the run game, but they're not going to pin back. They're not going to get to the quarterback. And at times, they may be injury prone. Like, stuff happens with our
KG, I'll back it up and say this. They haven't been, quote, pretty good in the run game. They're one of the best run defenses in the league.
Exactly.
Consistently.
But what is this defense?
Repeatedly.
No, absolutely. But what has this defense been missing? I brought this up on the morning show. We haven't had a pass rushing presence absolutely since James Houston was here.
Right.
And that archetype, for people that say that archetype can't work next to an Aiden Hutchinson, I beg to differ. Like, it absolutely can work. You just got to go get a guy. I would much rather have a pass rush specialist than somebody that's all around and good in the run game.
They're just not going to do it, though.
I hear you.
Somebody asked me, I mean, literally just as we were sitting here, this goes back to the Michigan conversation. They said, what about Josiah Stewart later? And I think this goes back to what Spenny was saying.
He's playing Sam.
He's 6'1", 245.
Yeah. They like Josiah Stewart. They're drafting. He's not playing edge.
No.
He's playing Sam.
Yep.
He's going to play.
1,000%. That's not an edge guy.
Yeah.
It's not.
And he can rush the passer, obviously, but he's also going to be in cover. That's why James Houston got released, because he could get to the quarterback, but they can't play him on the defensive line because if you play James Houston on the defensive line in the NFL, and I don't care if it's 3rd and 20, the quarterback's going to go audible, we're running right at that fucking guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you can't play him on the line. You could play him at Sam, but he can't cover either.
Right.
Josiah Stewart plays the run well, plays in coverage well, and he'd be Derek Barnes but better.
He's not the edge.
No.
I mean, that's not.
He would be your Sam.
Sorry.
Skydog in the chat, but please, no more Alabama players in the first round. Yeah, because Jahmyr Gibbs sucks. So does
Right.
Jamison Williams.
Yeah.
He sucks too.
Right.
I'd take Tyler Booker.
I would take Tyler Booker too.
I'd take Tyler Booker.
Like I say, if they
I would
stay
love
at
it.
28, they're going to get an offensive lineman. If they move up, it's going to be for Mikael Williams or Shamar Stewart. If they fall, but I just think they're going to move back. Like I said, the Grant and Scorton I'm hurting for a Scorton. Like if you could get
Put the T-shirt in the store right now. If they draft him,
Somebody better get that. The Where's the Woodward store? Let's go.
if you could get Grant and Scorton in the second round,
Fuck me.
that would
That's
literally
a good draft.
that would set up your
Jeez.
defensive line for the next 5
I
years.
just got questions about Scorton. That's all. Him and Stewart. I just have questions.
Throw Scorton's Purdue tape on. Dude, he got after it at Purdue. I'm just telling you that Texas A&M style of defense was not flattering to this. They had 3 arguably first-round picks on that defensive line and had like 8 sacks between the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Salty Pork Chops in the chat. Neil and Spenny, do you think Holmes will move up to 11 or 12, much like the JMO draft for Stewart?
I think 12 is
no
too
way.
high.
I think no way.
I think if he falls past 15,
That's
then we're
where
in business.
Yeah, that's
Well,
where
hey,
the
like, I don't-
start
Yeah.
I just again, guys,
Why
like
not?
because I don't see him as like Jamison Williams, all right?
Yeah.
Just because you're making the comp, so I didn't do it, you made the comp. Like JMO, there you could see there was a mercurial trait.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was a mercurial trait.
Shamar Stewart literally had a perfect RAS score, and that I know that's got.
And I know they dig the RAS score, but I do like the football stuff too at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not Salty Pork Chops. I can answer it for me if I were Brad Holmes. No, because I'm not interested in cost of acquisition to get this guy. Kind of. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's in Brad's DNA either. I don't. That high.
Like there's got to be something mercurial about it, dude.
Yeah, I don't
You're
think
when you're gonna move a 3rd round
like
pick.
I said, 15 beyond.
The
money. I don't think a 3rd round pick would
undeniable,
get you
I'm
to
sorry, I have to bring it up again. It's the greatest old bit in draft. I've done these draft shows for 25 years, okay? You guys, there are going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 players that end up dropping multiple spots because quarterbacks are going to be taken that you never saw being taken. Just get and Spenny, this is I think this is a paid programming note. This is time for your Jackson Dart.
Oh my God, Jackson Dart!
That Neil, you know it. That is the one undeniable truth.
Neil know what it
there
is.
are going to
Just
be
wait on it.
quarterbacks that go earlier than
Yes.
anybody thought, and there are going to be more quarterbacks going earlier than anybody thought as well. So I think that helps things out. So to Salty Pork Chop's point, let's play a game of pretend, and you have the Christian Ponder pop up, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they called out Christian Ponder's name, I laughed.
Yeah.
I really did.
Those were good days.
Blaine
man.
Gabbert.
Cool, dude.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Nick didn't work out for us, but it was like, oh, Nick Fairley just fell in our lap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, so situations like that happen. And it's going to happen again this year. And I think, to Salty Pork Chop's point, not at 12,
No.
but I think we're going to start having those conversations about 16, 17, where those teams at the back of the draft, the Buffaloes, the Phillies, KC, Detroit, are sitting there going, holy shit, one of us better move up now because there are 4 prime edges sitting there, and we all would like one of them.
Yep.
Jackson Dart,
It's
the
happening.
Rams.
It's happening.
To the Rams?
That's what.
It's happening.
Mel mocked him to the Rams.
It's
I like the
happening.
Steelers. You could also look at the Saints. You could look at the Seahawks.
I'm not mad at
I think the
Rams.
Saints will take Shador.
Yeah.
The Saints?
Yeah.
You think he's going to fall to 9?
Yeesh.
Sure.
It's now I think we've gotten to the point though. Remember, where not that long ago people were like second round early. He's going in the first round. Set your watch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Dart.
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
he's going in the
Yeah,
first
no,
round.
He's going to go in the
Guaranteed.
top 20.
Well, and
Guaranteed.
this is why I say it all the time, though. You look at mock drafts from a month or 2 ago, they're laughable. Like, find one. Like, I save one every year, like the first week of January. I go back and I look and I laugh, and it's like, haven't you guys learned your lesson yet? These quarterbacks are going in the first round.
Yeah.
Set your watch to it, man.
Quinn Ewers could sneak into the first
100%.
round. Jalen Milroe could be a first round.
They invited him to the draft.
Yeah. Jalen Milroe is probably going to be a first round.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But here we are,
That's
man.
what happens.
Yeah.
It's like 3.5 quarterbacks in the first round every year. The top 3 in this draft are obviously Cam Ward, Shedeur, and Jackson Dart, and then Jalen Milroe's right on that borderline.
I keep hearing about Louisville's quarterback.
Yeah. Could be.
Like he's shooting up the board. It's clockwork, man.
Yeah.
Like you could set your watch
It's a lottery
to the
ticket.
draft talk,
It's
man.
almost like you have to wait to find out what the NFL teams think about it, right? It's almost like we've been doing this dance for so many years now. But Neil, that's exactly what it is. Now we're starting to hear what the teams think about these situations. Now we're starting to hear, with no disrespect, I will say this until my dying breath, okay? You can say whatever you want about Mel Kiper, okay? You hate his guts, okay? Mel Kiper
looks like a
changed
penguin.
this, period.
Absolutely.
He did it.
He's
He
the
did it.
grandfather and the father. Like literally, it's one of those things. He's grandfather and
Hey,
father.
Sean.
And I thank God every day that he did, because this is fun. This is the season within the season.
Speaking of that, Kuiper's got Tyler Booker going 47 to the Cardinals.
I think he does fall out the first round.
That far?
Yeah.
Really?
Let's go, Sean.
You're not going to get a lot of offensive linemen off the board,
Sean.
I
except
think
for a
you'll see
couple
two in
until
first
the second round.
I think
Sean.
Zabel and Booker.
Sean.
That's my guess.
Come on.
Guards? Yeah.
Come on.
He said.
But-
did you hear that?
No, what did he say? Sorry.
Kuiper's got him 47. Tyler Booker.
I
Tyler
can see
Booker?
it.
Yeah,
can
he
see
had,
it.
Come
he
on,
had-
Sean.
He had Gray Zabel and Donovan Jackson over him.
I can see it.
Tyler Booker, I couldn't see 47.
Sean, come on.
I can.
I could sing. I would have no
Let's-
problem if they picked Tyler
Let's get
Booker.
the edge and then bump up in the second to get Booker. Come on.
All right.
I'm going
sounds
Sean
good.
Belizean pants off at that
sounds
point.
Or you could stay at 60. And
Then
my
I
mind,
just sit there like
Yeah,
this.
when you
But
guys see me-
get Neil stuck looking at my dick. I'm just sitting there like this. Going,
oh shit.
They're
Sean,
off.
if you guys, I'll pull up to the draft party in the tearaways,
Yeah,
just
there
in
you go.
case.
Hell yeah.
Just in case.
In the tearaway.